Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I'll try to keep it shorter. um, anyway, to reiterate where I left off, most of your grade is dependent upon your assignments. 10% is on participation, and I define participation below. I'll talk about it in a second. And then lastly, 25% is your final project, which will basically just be researching a topic that has been introduced in class, and you'll just take it further. Most of the topics in this class will be introduced, not explored thoroughly, and so there will be plenty of opportunity for you to learn more about something that interests you that we covered in class. So participation, I've kind of already talked about it, but this class really, you need to be motivated in order to take an online class because it's really easy to just kind of sweep it aside. So being proactive and ready for new material is important, and part of being motivated is also being willing to participate in the forums that I assign, in the responses that I'm asking you to write about the material presented in class. So please just realize that every time you turn something in, every time you participate in a forum or any kind of interactive assignment, that you are communicating with everybody in the class. Communication, I already talked to you about that. Assignments, here's a brief outline of the topics that'll be covered in class, and depending on how things go or if something happens in the news that I think is important to bring to class, this might change a little bit. There are some things in here. Oh yeah, assignments. So assignments will be due on Wednesdays, anytime on Wednesdays. So as long as you get it in before 11:59 and 59 seconds on PM on Wednesday, you're good. And really, if you get it in at like 12:30 on AM on Thursday, that's probably going to be fine too. I will send emails and new material on Fridays at some point. It might not necessarily be in the morning, depends on my schedule, but you'll get new material on Fridays, and you'll have until Wednesday to complete them. So if you work better earlier in the week, then don't open it until Monday, or do it Sunday, do it on the weekend, do it whenever you feel like. Oops, sorry for the wiggles. Let's see. I can't read Mac documents. So if you have an Apple computer and you turn something in using your Pages app, I think that's what it's called, I won't be able to open it. So please make it, what do you call that? I can't think of the word. Anyway, you can change the file type to a Word doc or a text file or something like that. So please do that before you submit documents. Assignments will be given in either Google Docs or in Office software, so probably Word. Late assignments will be marked down 10% for every day that they're late. So if you turn something in late, if you don't get to it on Wednesday, turn it in on Thursday, and you're still able to get a pretty good grade. It's better than not turning it in at all, okay? Even 2 days late is better than never. And if something's missing, if you don't turn something in, I will not chase you for it, okay? I will submit a grade of 0 pretty quickly after it's due, just to give you a reminder that you haven't turned it in, but I will not chase you for it. That's why I'm telling you being organized is pretty important in this class, okay? If you turn something in late and I've already assigned you a 0, I will change it to give you credit for whatever you turn in, all right? I don't know, I think that's kind of it. This is just stuff about campus if you need help or if you have questions about academic integrity or plagiarism or whatever, I've given you some information. If you need tutoring help on campus, not necessarily with this class, but just with classes in general, there's information in the syllabus about that too. Again, Aquinas email is how I will communicate with you. I don't think I need to go over anything else in the syllabus. So please read it. I went over the main parts, but all right, now I have to figure out how to get back to this thing. Okay, so assignments for next week are, I want you to introduce yourself, answer some of these questions or any other questions that you think you'd like to answer about yourself. Really, I just want a little bit more than, hi, my name is Brian, right? I'd like to know, hey, my name's Brian and I'm from Ann Arbor and I have 6 brothers and sisters and I really dig making jam or like whatever, stuff about you, just so I can like get a little bit of like personal contact here because I miss that. Jokes, I would love to hear them. Laughing is cool. So whatever you feel like sharing, whatever you're comfortable with sharing. And then I am asking you a couple of questions so that I can determine where the class is as a whole. So one set of questions will talk about how you verify the reliableness, is that a word? Reliability of information. So what measures do you take to ensure stuff is trustworthy? Do you have news sites or websites that you already trust without questioning? And if so, what are they and why do you trust them? And then I'm going to ask you about that, the concept of fake news. You've probably heard that term in our media world, right? So I'm wondering, what do you know about fake news? What do you think it is? What's being referred to when people use the term fake news? So that's one set of questions. The second set of questions is more about how do you approach doing research papers? I'm sure that you've all done a number of them already in your life. And so I'm sure they're seen more as an annoyance to you. And I want you to think about, like, why do you think that's such a common assignment? What's the point of an assignment like that? Have you thought of that question before? And then another question is, how do you approach such an assignment? Where do you go to find information? How do you engage with that information? Do you read a ton of information, spend hours and hours like poring over information and absorbing it, or do you skim it for a sentence that you can plop into a paper that you've already written? And be truthful. I'm just wondering, like, how does this class do those things? And that will help me to gear the information that I share with you. If there's a lot of you who are already expert level researchers, then I'm not going to take a ton of time going over how to use a database. Okay. And lastly, I'm going to ask you to watch a YouTube video or a TED Talk. Sorry. Some of you have already watched this. I guess it's assigned in other classes sometimes. And if that's the case, then just watch it again. This woman's fascinating and she's a pleasure to listen to. So anyway, and then I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about what she has to say about the danger of a single story. And that's all that will be due next week. So just go to Course Connect and you can link on all this stuff. You should be able to do it pretty quickly, I think. And that'll still give you plenty of opportunity to enjoy your first weekend of the semester. All right, I'm signing off now. Sorry I rambled a bit. I kind of do that. And you'll hear from me next Friday unless I get a bunch of emails from all of you telling me that I've forgotten to do something. Okay, but I hope everything will be cool and everything will be ready to go and you can just do your assignments and move on. All right. nice meeting you, kind of a little bit